Welcome to College Prep Confidential, empowering your student with the elite tools they need to get accepted to their dream university. Discover test-taking blueprints from Ivy League professionals, financial aid secrets to get more money for school, and mindset tips for a better college future. Now please welcome your host, Don Sevcik.
Back in action for episode 3 of the College Prep Confidential podcast. Today, I'll reveal one of the secrets of great test takers by mixing neuroscience and a Canadian game show wisdom in an episode entitled Canadian Game Show Host Discovers the Key to Test-Taking Mastery from Addition by Subtraction. And the power of this secret earns you an average of 2 to 4 additional correct answers for every 20 questions on an exam just by guessing. Does that sound good to you? If it does, let's learn more. In 1963, a new game show came out called Let's Make a Deal. Let's Make a Deal took members of the studio audience. They called them traders. These traders made deals with the host of the game show. Now, in most cases, a trader was offered something of value and given a choice of whether to keep it or exchange it for something else. The game show's hook and a big part of its addictive appeal was this: that other item is hidden from the trader until that choice is made. Now, here's the fun part. The trader doesn't know if he or she is getting something of greater value or a prize that they referred to as a zonk, an item purposely chosen to be of little or no value to the trader. Now, this show gave birth to a secret that the best test takers know and use to conquer ACT and SAT exams. And I'll get to that secret in just a minute. The secret comes from what's called the Monty Hall problem. Monty Hall, by the way, was the host of Let's Make a Deal. Here's how the Monty Hall problem works. Suppose you're on a game show and you're given the choice of 3 doors. Behind one door is a brand new car. Behind the other 2 doors, goats. Now, you pick a door, say number 1, and the host, who knows what's behind all 3 doors, opens another door, different from the one you picked. Let's say number 3, which has a goat behind it. The host then turns, looks at you, and says, "Would you like to pick door number 2?" Even though your first pick was door number 1. Now the question, my friends and dear listeners, is it to your advantage to switch your original choice? So the question becomes, you originally picked door number 1. The host opens door number 3 to show you a goat. He then says, "Hey, do you want to pick door number 2? This is called the Monty Hall problem. And what you're about to learn is one of the greatest secrets of expert test takers. And here, by the way, is the correct answer. The correct answer is to change your choice to door number 2. Now, the first time I heard this answer as the correct answer, I said to myself, there's no way, this has got to be wrong. We had 3 doors, you choose one, it's 1/3 probability. But then I read it again and again and again. And I listened to smarter, wiser heads than me, who are experts in probability. And I also spoke to a few test takers. And when they explained it to me over and over again, it finally made sense. And this secret, what I'm about to show you, and why it's your best choice to change to door number 2, will also give you the secret behind the best guessers on ACT and SAT exams. So here's how it works. When the contestant first chose the door, which was door number 1, he or she had a 1/3 chance of being right. So there's 3 doors, only one has the car behind it. Next, the game show host opens another door, not the one he chose, but one of the other 2, revealing the goat behind it. The game show host asks the contestant, "Would you like to change your choice?" The correct answer is yes, and here's why. Because now, when the game show contestant picks again between the 2 remaining doors, they now have a 2/3 chance of guessing correctly. Since they already chose the first door when it was 1/3, their next choice to choose the other door is 2/3. In other words, the probability went up after the game show host revealed the third door. You see, by eliminating a wrong choice, the game show host increased the game show contestants' odds of guessing correctly. And this is why you'd want to switch the door for your guess. Now, I call this little phenomenon addition by subtraction. You see, by subtracting wrong answers when the game show host removed one of the doors as an option, they added to your probability of getting the right answer. And remember, when you're guessing in anything, it all comes down to probability. This strategy, the Monty Hall problem, and eliminating choices, gives you the secret behind the best test takers in the world. Let's take an ACT or SAT exam problem where you aren't 100% sure. In other words, you're going to have to guess. You see, most people try to immediately guess either their favorite letter or find a random guessing pattern based on the last few answers. But the elite test takers, they're a different breed. Instead of looking for what may be right, they eliminate what is surely wrong. What they do is, just like Monty Hall, who eliminated a surely wrong guess, elite test takers try to find answers which could never be correct. They want to eliminate choices first, just like the Monty Hall game show program. And by doing this, by eliminating wrong answers up front as fast as possible, they now increase their probability of guessing right because they've eliminated choices. And by the way, eliminating choices gives you 2 more benefits, vital in your journey to conquering the ACT and SAT exams. If the answer can be plugged in and tested, so you're given a problem where you can plug your answer back in to check it, by eliminating answers, less potential answers mean faster testing times to check the other answers. And time savings on a college exam is equivalent to oxygen. Without oxygen, you won't survive. And without enough time, you're doomed on a college exam. By reducing choices on guesses, we add more time by making the guessing process easier. And it all comes back to addition by subtraction. And another benefit from reducing potential answers by elimination, using the Monty Hall game show technique, the tax on your brain. I'm not talking about a financial tax. You see, science has a theory called cognitive load, and here comes the neuroscience portion of this show. It deals with the tax or stress on your brain when learning or solving a problem, like an ACT or SAT exam question. And part of cognitive load is something called problem space. The problem space is the gap between the current situation and the desired goal. If this is too large, people's working memory becomes overloaded. Now here's where the Monty Hall game show problem helps you reduce your cognitive load, the tax on your brain. When you reduce choices, it helps reduce the problem space and lightens the cognitive load on your brain. This leaves you with more brain power and energy. Once again, by eliminating choices, you gain brain power you would have lost on additional decisions to make on each multiple choice problem. And here we go again with addition by subtraction. So now that we covered the neuroscience and we covered the theory behind the Monty Hall game show problem, let's talk about a recipe for guessing when you aren't sure of the right answer. And this is my 3-step recipe I used when I took college exams, and also that we've baked in to our ACT and SAT Mastery Toolkit. Step 1, identify keywords in the problem. These are words that jump out and identify what type of problem or what type of answer they're looking for. Step 2, determine the opposite of the keywords. In other words, what the answer could not or never be. And step 3, once you determine the opposite, eliminate the choices in step 2. Let's take a quick example. A problem on the ACT exam asks for a natural number, which is the square root of a positive number. You're given 4 choices on the multiple choice problem. One of them is a negative number. So elite test takers know right off the bat the square root of a positive number, which must be natural, is a positive number. So immediately, based on my 3-step recipe that we just covered in step 2, natural numbers must be positive, which means it could never be negative. And by the way, it could never be a decimal either. Or, I'm sorry, a negative decimal. Or a decimal, because natural numbers are integers. So on a 4-choice multiple choice question, this person using the 3-step guessing recipe has just increased their odds of guessing correctly from 1 out of 4, or 25%, to 1 out of 3, or 33%. Do you see how powerful this strategy is? Now, how about this? Here's another example. A problem asks for you to identify a point in quadrant 1 on a Cartesian graph. Well, if you know basic information about a Cartesian graph, you immediately know, based on my 3-step guessing recipe, that both coordinates must be positive. So what you do is you scour through all the multiple choice options and you eliminate any answer with a negative sign, either for the first coordinate or the second. Now, using my 3-step guess recipe that I mentioned, we reduced our answer choices by eliminating what the answer is not or could never be. Now let's take a look at a few probability examples using the Let's Make a Deal game show example and show you how you increase your scores on guessing by increasing the probability of guessing right. If we're looking for answers to remove first, and we want to eliminate anything that seems out of place. For instance, if you eliminate 1 to 2 choices, your probability goes up from 1 out of 4 or 1 out of 5 to 2 out of 4 or 3 out of 4 on a 4-option multiple choice problem. So let's look at this in detail. We've got a 4-option multiple choice question. Starting from scratch, you have a 1 out of 4 or 25% chance of guessing correctly. If you can eliminate one answer choice, your probability of answering correctly jumps to 1 out of 3, which we covered before, or 33%. If you can eliminate 2 answer choices, your probability of answering doubles from your original starting point, 1 out of 2, or 50%. Now, what about a 5-option multiple choice question? Starting from scratch, your initial probability of guessing right is 1 out of 5, or 20%. Eliminate one choice, your probability of answering correctly jumps to 1 out of 4, or 25%. Eliminate 2 answer choices, we're at 1 out of 3, or 33%. If you can eliminate 3 answer choices, the probability of you answering that question correctly leaps to 1 out of 2, or 50%. Now, what if you compound this over multiple questions on a college exam? Let's say you have a 20-question multiple choice exam. Each problem has 4 choices. Your expected score, if you guess on every single problem, is 20 questions times 1 out of 4 probability of getting each question right for an expected score of 5. Now, If we use the Monty game show technique, let's say on those same 20 problems we guessed on every one, you were able to eliminate at least one choice on each problem. Your new expected score is 20 questions times 1/3 probability of getting each question right for an expected score of 6.67. Simply by eliminating another choice, even with guessing, with no special study skills, you've increased your score by 1.67 points on your exam. Now, this may not seem like a lot, but sometimes a few points means the difference between passing and failing an exam. And sometimes a few extra points means the difference between being good and being great. And this being great is the type of stuff that gets noticed by colleges and makes you stand out and get more financial aid. Higher test scores are always a good thing in college prep. So translated, you increased your chances by over 4 times when you get all of the questions right. The key lesson here, if and when you need to guess, is eliminate obvious wrong answers or impossible answers. Embrace addition by subtraction. So there you have it, the power of addition by subtraction and the Monty game show technique, which shows you the power of increasing probability when you have to guess. By eliminating choices in an exam, you increase your exam scores, you save brain power, and you reduce stress. The key, my friends, is work smarter, not harder. And by the way, if you're a parent of a student who will be going to college, I've got a free offer just for you. I've put together a free training. It's designed to simplify the college prep process by putting more financial aid in your pocket. Now you're probably asking, why am I doing this? Because I know how much work it is for parents like you to prepare for college, and I want to help you make the process easier. So the free training for listeners of the show is at cpcshow.com. That's cpcshow.com. I've put this together because if you like what I've given you on the podcast and the free training, then maybe in the future, if you need additional help for college prep, you'll think of me and my team in the future for a full college prep package. And if not, that's fine too. But I want you to get more secrets and more help of college prep at the free training. One more time at cpcshow.com. That's all for this week. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.
That's all for this episode of College Prep Confidential. To discover how to give your student a better future by increasing financial aid, improving test scores, and reducing stress, visit our website at cpcshow.com. That's cpcshow.com.